Good evening. We'll call to order this evening's City Council meeting for the City of Gahanna. Tonight is Monday, March 17th, 2025, and happy St. Patrick's Day to those celebrating. This evening, if you would please stand to join me as Mr. Weaver leads us in the invocation, with special guests leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance immediately to follow.
Thank you. As we gather, we are grateful for and are reminded of the strength in our shared traditions and the bonds of friendship. May our community continue to be a place of warmth, welcome, and belonging. And may the spirit of spring fill our hearts and renew our spirits. And may we always cherish the beauty of nature and strive to protect it.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. And please remain standing as Troop 7456 leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you so much to the Scouts. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Bowers.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
McGregor.
Here.
Padova.
Here.
Renner.
Here.
Schnetzer.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Next, are there any additions or corrections to this evening's agenda? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to Section C this evening. This evening, we have two joint resolution proclamation presentations. We're grateful to be joined first by representatives from SWACO and next from Troop 7456. I'll turn this over to Councilwoman Padova to introduce Food Waste Reduction Week.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm honored to introduce a resolution that highlights an issue affecting the environment, economy, and community, which is food waste. Every day, nearly 1 million pounds of food end up in the Franklin County sanitary landfill, with food being the single largest material discarded by weight. This waste not only represents lost meals, but also resources like water, energy, and soil, and it contributes to harmful greenhouse gas emissions. Here in Gahanna, we have an opportunity to take meaningful action. Through a partnership with SWACO and Go Zero Services, we offer residents a free food waste composting program at Friendship Park, making it easier to divert organic waste from landfills. Before serving on council, I'll admit that I wasn't really familiar with composting. In fact, it was the announcement of the Friendship Park composting site that sparked my curiosity. After those discussions, I heard Councilwoman Bowers and McGregor talking about their home compost, and they ultimately inspired me to do the same. Over the past 3 years, my approach has evolved a lot, and I've come to see firsthand how small changes in our habits can make a real impact. Additionally, there are a lot of other changes that you can make, such as planning meals, properly sorting food, and understanding date labels. All of these can play a vital role in reducing food waste. So tonight, we are formally recognizing March 17th through the 23rd as Food Waste Action Week in Gahanna. And this week will serve as an opportunity to educate, raise awareness, and encourage participation in the food waste reduction efforts. By working together, residents, businesses, and organizations, we can all make a real impact in cutting our food waste in half by 2030, as outlined in the Central Ohio Food Waste Action Plan. So I want to thank SWACO and the Central Ohio Food Waste Initiative and all our other partners for their leadership and sustainability, and I encourage our community to take advantage of the resources that are available at savemorethanfood.org. And with that, I'm pleased to turn things over to the mayor to introduce our recipients from SWACO tonight.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. And it is my pleasure to have members of SWACO with us here this evening. We've I think Gahanna has a long storied history with SWACO and being a great partner with recycling. And certainly when we started the partnership for the Save More Than Food campaign a few years ago, getting that first grant that enabled us to start the food composting program that you just mentioned at Friendship Park. And then more recently with some new compactors that we have for recycling. But we've just been so appreciative for your partnership, for the support and the leadership that you have provided within this region, not only in diverting materials away from the landfill, but in supporting municipalities like Gahanna to grow our programs and encourage us and position us for success in our own communities. So it is with pleasure that I would invite to the podium this evening Mr. Joe Lombardi, Executive Director of SWACO, also known as the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio.
Good evening and happy St. Patrick's Day for those that are celebrating. I wanted to first give a shout out to a fellow Silver Knight. Director Becker and I are classmates in high school, and so was my wife. And so when I saw him here this evening, I made sure to give him a little shout out. Mayor Jadwin, President Bowers, members of City Council, my name is Joe Lombardi, Executive Director at SWACO, and with me this evening is Scott Perry, who serves as our Assistant Executive Director. We do appreciate this joint resolution celebrating Food Waste Action Week here in Gahanna, and I do accept this humbly on behalf of all the men and women who work every day at SWACO to make our region more sustainable and environmentally safe for all of us. Without them, I wouldn't be up here touting what we do. They do such a great job every day, and they go very quietly behind the scenes. So they roll me out to talk about it. So as the council member said, over 1 million pounds of food waste comes to our landfill each and every day. It is the largest single material by percentage in the landfill. So finding solutions and providing awareness is important for us and important for our community to help divert that material from our landfill for reuse and composting. Gahanna, I appreciate what you're doing in prioritizing the sustainability efforts for the community and to help us divert that material from our landfill. It does take all of us. SWACO can't do it alone, and we're happy to support any community with our grants and any of our programs to help those communities help us make a difference in Central Ohio. As the mayor had indicated and the council member, we have invested in a partnership with Gahanna, both in the food waste drop-offs at Friendship Park and the Save More Than Food program, educating and making your residents, schools, and businesses aware of food waste issues here in Central Ohio. And recently, I had the pleasure of joining Mayor Jadwin to promote the additional recycling for the Cora at Creekside District, and we had a great time trying to film that. It took us a few takes, but we finally got through with it. So last, I'd just like to thank the city of Gahanna for all that you're doing and being a partner with SWACO, and we appreciate all your efforts that you're doing to help our Central Ohio region become more sustainable for the future. And I do accept this resolution with humble on behalf of the people at SWACO. Thank you very much.
Take a picture?
Yeah.
If you will go ahead and come back up here, we'll meet you down here to take a picture together. Thanks.
All right, 3, 2, 1. That's good. Thank you.
sage cookie. It's basil.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Padova and Mayor Jadwin, and to Council Office for your work on preparing the joint resolution proclamation for Food Waste Action Week and for your comments this evening. Next, I'd like to turn our meeting over to Councilman Stephen Renner to recognize Troop 7456 as the first girls' troop of BSA in Gahanna.
Thank you. I'm going to go down there, and if Troop 7456 will meet you up here. Mayor, this is a joint. Would you like to?
If you want something to come off consent, let me know. That's fine. They're still using this.
So, a resident reached out to me, Ike Engel, and actually educated me about the Boy Scouts of America in the 21st century. Thank you. So let me start over. A resident reached out to me and taught me something about the Boy Scouts in the 21st century. I am a traditionalist. I was a Boy Scout many years ago. And now I understand that it's actually very integrated. And in here in Gahanna, we have the first girls Boy Scout troop. So we wanted, the mayor and I actually wanted to present with council a resolution honoring you guys. So whereas Troop 7456 was founded in 2019 by a determined group of 6th grade girls, paving the way for young women in Gahanna to fully participate in the time-honored tradition of scouting, fostering leadership, resilience, and outdoor skills. And whereas since its founding, Troop 7456 was achieved remarkable milestones, including 3 Eagle Scout ranks, the first ever by girls in Gahanna, demonstrating the highest level of achievement in scouting and setting an inspiring precedent for future generations. Whereas these young women have camped regularly, participated in impactful community service projects, and explored new horizons through merit badges, high adventure camps, and travel across numerous states, embodying the spirit of perseverance and adventure. And whereas the year 2025 marks a historic moment as Boy Scouts of America officially transitions to Scouting America, reinforcing a commitment to inclusivity and growth, a vision that Troop 7456 has championed since its inception. And whereas, unlike long-established boys troops such as Gahanna Troop 98, founded in 1943, Troop 7456 is forging its own legacy, overcoming challenges of being a young troop without decades of alumni support, proving that determination and community backing can build a foundation for success. And whereas the city of Gahanna acknowledges the hard work and dedication achievements of Troop 7456 and recognizes that their perseverance and leadership reflect the values of the community, setting a powerful example for being young women and future scouts. Whereas by honoring Troop 7456, the city of Gahanna reaffirms its commitment to supporting youth leadership, adventure, personal growth, ensuring that all scouts, regardless of gender, have the opportunity to thrive and contribute to their community. Now, therefore, be it jointly resolved by the council and proclaimed by the mayor of the city of Gahanna, County of Franklin, State of Ohio, that the council and mayor hereby recognize Troop 7456 as the first girls' troop of Boy Scouts of America in the city of Gahanna, celebrating their achievements and opportunities they have created for future generations of young women. Section 2, the city of Gahanna encourages community partnerships, mentorships, and support for Troop 7456, ensuring these scouts have access to the resources and opportunities necessary to continue their leadership, that this resolution shall be in full force effect by the earliest period by law. Congratulations, girls. Thank you so much. Council, would you like to join me? Also, up here, for everybody that's up here, we have bookmarks, and they're sustainable bookmarks. There are seeds with this that you can actually plant the leaf and actually grow something. And for everybody, we also have the flags of Gahanna. Make sure you get the bookmark and the flag.
While everyone is collecting their goodies, I just want to take a moment to also recognize the parents of all the Scouts. We appreciate your time and your commitment to your children's development and how much you put in to making sure that their troop has been successful. So thank you to all the parents and congratulations again. All right, with that, moving on to the next section on our agenda, Section 2, under presentations, we have a recreation update from Director of Parks and Recreation, Stephanie Farrell, and Recreation Superintendent, thank you, Brian Gill.
Thank you. And yes, just to reiterate, we are focusing on recreation alone this evening. We're going to dissect it out by division, and we will have a parks update later on in the year. So really just to start off with what the vision of the recreation division is. And this is articulated within the Parks Master Plan, and that vision is to increase programming for everybody in the city of Gahanna in order to establish a lifetime learner and a lifetime user of parks. That's to increase just education through stewardship, health and wellness, and just ownership and being part of your community. That is something that we strive with every program and event that we participate or encourage to register for. In order to accomplish that vision, a goal and to activate indoor and outdoor spaces is a way for us to establish that vision. So whether that's using our own facilities or using partners and efforts throughout the community in order to increase participation with recreational activities. So here we're going to break down some of the sections of the division. For aquatic specific, these are 2023 numbers comparative to 2024. 2025 clearly is not populated because we have not had the season quite yet, but we are fast and furious and really headed towards the aquatic season, believe it or not. I will note in 2023, we did have some restrictions for participation due to behavior issues the year prior. So you will see that those daily rates are pretty significantly impacted by that in the 2023 year. In 2024, we were able to relieve some of those restrictions, which allowed for resident day pass users to bring guests with them, and that did increase the participation with day pass users. So we did see an increase in participation with the pool, but also we're able to maintain a positive experience for all users with an appropriate level of restrictions or rules. That's something that we continuously evaluate and will continue to relieve as we're able to see, we're able to have a safe and successful summer.
Director Farrell, would you like questions during the presentation so that you don't have to like go back to previous slides, or would you like to proceed with the full presentation?
And I should have articulated at the beginning, it may be helpful to get through the presentation and answer at the end. Some of the sections are spread between multiple slides, so I may get to your question before I'm able to respond. So if we can wait till the end, that would be great. For swim lessons prior to COVID was a program that was outsourced by a third party, evaluating the appropriateness and really the impact to bring it into a municipal regulated process was something that we thought was advantageous and did take that step in order to bring in swim lessons in-house. The program was established. The training and the effort within our seasonal lifeguards and training of lifeguards is continuously am impressed by the level of care and the level of expertise that our seasonal staff members put towards the job, and they continue to advance their skills. It's shown significantly within the swim lesson program. So we're able to provide more opportunities for Learn to Swim, and we're able to train more guards in order to continue to expand that program. So we expect to see those numbers increase even for that 2025 year. For aquatic programs, something through the Parks Master Plan that was heavily identified was that adult programming was something that we were deficient in. The aquatics program took an opportunity to increase programming through water fitness. There's also water walking. So just offering different ways and being creative with use of aquatics for adult perspective. And we've seen an increase with those water fitness classes through the 2024 year, and we'll be bringing those back in 2025. Noteworthy is the Parks and Recreation Foundation still supports through scholarship. This is not just for membership, this is for programs as well. So whether it's a Learn to Swim or any type of activity, it is open to residents who identify a need through financial support. So 30 families received financial support in order to participate with the aquatics program, and we continue to see that expand. I think it's really just the understanding that that's available to them is definitely something that we'll continue to advocate for folks to utilize that resource. Over the years, I know that lifeguards have always been a challenge. Really, seasonal hiring has been a challenge year over year, and something that we put focus in is really retaining the staff that we have. So creating a good culture and just putting effort into our staff so that they want to come back. So we're happy that as of to date, we have a 59% retention for seasonal staff, and we expect to see that increase. We don't have a full staff on board yet, but we are trending well for where we're at in the season. And that has, of course, the development and the push to this gentleman right next to me, as well as our human resource team, put a lot of effort to get the over 200 seasonal staff members onboarded on a very short amount of time. As I mentioned, with aquatics, memberships are on sale, and the seasonal facilities are already being prepped for this year. Moving into golf, COVID was definitely a good marketing scheme for golf. We continue to see the participation just continue to increase. This isn't just Gahanna, this is really nationwide. If you look at the numbers here, it looks like we took a dip in 2024, but if you look at the days that we were open, we actually had an increase of rounds at the golf course. So Golf is weather dependent. As you all know, the golf course can and will be underwater multiple times per year. The dedication and the skill of our grounds crew is just phenomenal. We're able to turn the course quickly because of the care that's done on a maintaining schedule. Again, you're aware that the Independence Day celebration is held on the golf course. This past year, the golf course was underwater, literally underwater, the morning of the Independence Day celebration. Through a lot of work and a lot of care, the fireworks did still occur, and the golf course was open the following day for afternoon tea times. So it's just, again, it's the level of work ethic and just the understanding of what needs to happen for those grounds to be maintained appropriately. Some improvements were made to the course that were long overdue. The cart path, again, with the increased use time over time, just exacerbated the need for the golf cart path to be replaced. So that was accomplished in 2024. So we're happy to see that this season. Again, noteworthy with programming, knowing that we have a 9-hole golf course, it's a good opportunity to teach new golfers. So our recreation coordinator, Krista Johnson, put together, it's called Sips and Tips. It's a female-focused training course for golfers to learn how to golf from start to finish. I think they really enjoy the personalities of their trainers, which is our very own Krista Johnson and Joe Hebdo, more than they actually learn the skill of golf. But that program continues to sell out and actually received a second place award through the Awards of Excellence through the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association. This year we are celebrating 50 years of golf, so there will be multiple opportunities for promos and just some celebratory programs coming back. The chili cook-off is a tradition that was displaced through COVID. It's coming back this year just to pay some homage to the course. So we are open. The golf is happening. Those 70-degree days, we've seen some great participation at the golf course. For senior adult programming, you'll notice the memberships will continue to increase. We definitely attribute that to the creativity and the just the overall customer service of our team. But also, I expect that the anticipation of a brand new building may have some consideration for those numbers, and we expect that to continue to increase. Our team puts a lot of emphasis on partnerships throughout the senior center program. You'll notice there's 74 opportunities for free or reduced meals throughout the year of 2024. So those are often with partners that provide in-kind meals, whether it's they're providing the funding or the actual bringing the meal to the senior center. So it's just a great way for the senior members to receive a great resource and also gain some information from other community agencies. There are, on average, 28 programs per week that are available to the senior population. All of those programs are on a rotating week-by-week schedule, so there's a social aspect. They know every Tuesday they're going to see their friends play, whether it's Euchre's not Wednesday, is it? Whatever is on Wednesday, they'll have it's a social opportunity for folks to be able to come and join and have a great time. Again, with the creativity and just the understanding that there's always more that we can offer, there were 22 new programs that were offered to the senior population last year. In 2025, the team received a first place OPRA award for a new special event. It was Senior Prom. The senior staff worked hard to put together a formal evening where a cosmetology school came in and offered free hair and makeup to folks, and then they had picture opportunities and a DJ. It was a really a great experience for the members for the senior center. I will go back. I skipped over adult population again, just putting an emphasis on adult programming. The senior team in the midst of 2023 took on the responsibility of expanding opportunities for adults. So that's adults under the age of 55. So really looking at what opportunities are there through a contractual or what opportunities could be made through the facilities or the parks that we have. So you'll see there's an increase in participation in 2024, and with offering new opportunities for 2025, we expect to continue to see that increase. For youth and family, we were able to provide 2025 numbers because the registration has occurred for our youth summer camps. And you will notice over the years, not only the availability or the max enrollment has increased, but just the participation of campers has also increased. 2023, we had to limit the amount of campers we were able to enroll, and that comes down to ratios. We have so many staff per camper is required to maintain our ACA accreditation. So we cannot bring on campers without having the appropriate amount of staff. And we were still in a challenging position in the year of 2023. So we really had to pay attention to how many campers we were enrolling so that we were still within ratio. In 2024, there was just a shift. We were able to bring on some really great staff, full-time as well as seasonal, and put a lot of work into the development of the seasonal staff and created a good leadership and just, again, culture for the youth and family program. For this year, you'll notice Camp Friendship is completely sold out. We actually have wait list for many weeks with both Camp Friendship as well as Camp Hannah. And this is just our in-house camps. We also have specialty camps that aren't identified here. And those are also not completely full, but participation is really booming for those camps. So we're seeing the demand there, so we're able to continuously meet that demand by providing opportunities through specialty camps as well as in-house. One thing that we really love to point out is the Teen Rec Destination was the name of the teen camp, so ages 14 to 16. In 2023, we struggled to get participation. We went ahead and ran with 6 campers, knowing that we've got to start somewhere. In 2024, we sold out with 52 campers. Knowing that demand was there, we did have some wait lists. We were able to expand the program and fill the program yet again. That age group is a really challenging age group. We're competing with special interests. We're competing with a lot of other skills or other types of athletics that are occurring at that age. So to be able to have a focused approach with that age group is something we're really excited about. Yeah.
One thing I just wanted to say about the camps weeks. So those are the weeks of camp. So if your child is going to sign up for all 10 weeks of camp, that would be 10. So that Camp Thrive, we ran it every other week last summer just to see how it would work, and it sold out. So that's partially why you see that large jump, is because it is being offered every week, and it is completely sold out with a wait list for several of those. And like Director Farrell said, a lot of this is based off of staff, both staffing and just what we can accommodate in the space. So that Camp Thrive, a lot of what they do is transport to either volunteer opportunities or just off-site experiences, and so we're limited to the spaces we can take due to the transportation we have. So they'll use one of our 15-passenger vans when they go out. So between staff and campers, it's capped at that 12 campers a week.
With youth and family, we also, of course, offer programming throughout the entire year, not just throughout the summer. So contractual camps are what we utilize with third parties. So it may be a skill that's specialized that we can outsource with another agency that we partner with. And it just really helps to develop multiple opportunities without utilizing our in-house staff. So we were able to increase those opportunities in 2024, and again, expect to see that increase in 2025 as well, which then just increases the opportunities for children and families to participate in their community. Department-led are programs that we lead ourselves, and that's, again, increasing over time and participation running right along that as well. Partnerships have been huge. Peace Lutheran really opened their doors. We were able to utilize their indoor space. They had indoor space that they wanted to see used for a great purpose, and we presented multiple opportunities and really have had a great partnership with them. Also, the Gahanna Library story time has been a hit. We have some very talented and animated folks on our team who do a phenomenal job, and it just really has expanded the willingness for folks to want to come and see songs sang by our very talented Chris Goodmore. Our CIT program, this is a program that was established, again, just putting skills and growing the leadership qualities within campers. So in order to be a camp counselor, you have to be at least 17 years old. And so our summer camp program, again, now with the teen program kicking off, that does go until 14, but there was a gap. So we're missing a few years of opportunities from a camper standpoint to a counselor. So the CIT program is a paid position where you're able to actually be a counselor and learn skills, but you have a mentorship with a counselor. So it presents opportunity that we're able to keep campers involved, but we're also able to help leadership within our seasonal staff and just continue to build that program. That's been successful, and those typically sell out or are filled pretty quickly. Again, with the retention, we're seeing a 58% retention with seasonal staff, and do also expect to see that increase over time. With special events, the attendance total, this is just for department-led activities. This is not for our partner agencies as well. So you'll see there's an increase with special event attendance. We do partner with a lot of sponsors in order to help keep activities low or free of cost for the community members. Thanks to the support of Mayor Jadwin as well as City Council, we were able to hire a recreation coordinator in the middle of 2024, which Tyler was really hit the ground running and has been a really great asset to the team. And we're happy to continue to have him, and the support is really expounds what customer service we're able to provide, but also what opportunities we're able to provide by having the appropriate support. In 2025, the team received a second place award for the support of the 175 celebration. So again, that's the third award that this recreation team received in just the 2-year span. So they're now I think they might get a little greedy and want to continue to see that type of hardware, but really proud of the work that they put in and the ability to continue to be creative with what we're able to offer. A growth opportunity that we have and know is with volunteer. We do have a portal that we use, but in order to formalize that growth and to really formalize the program, an initiated effort with that, and Tyler is taking lead on that for 2025. And just recently, with the help of the grant analyst, the team was able to receive a ODNR award, grant award for education as well as assets for the boat program. I would be remiss if I didn't explain this program. This was something that Superintendent Gill and his team really worked hard on, and again, building the culture and really focusing on the retention of our staff was something that we knew we needed to do in order to have a successful program. So the Future Leader program was something that was established, and I'll actually kick it over to Brian since this was his baby.
Yeah, so the Future Leaders Program is a voluntary program. All of our seasonal staff have the opportunity to sign up at the end of the summer. And we run a variety of virtual or in person, it depends on the year, of professional development. So anything from resume writing and interview tips to what it means to serve the public and talk about the Gahanna community and the impact they have. They have the ability to participate in any of those. These sessions are all coordinated, put together and run by our year-round staff. So typically of the first year, we had 5 different topics, and we had 5 staff take those, and they were in charge of basically creating the content, as well as setting the dates and holding those teams meetings with staff. This year, first-year participants had they needed to attend 4 of the 5 sessions, so whatever they felt was most of interest of them, we encouraged them to come to all of them, but to pass or complete the program, it was 4 out of 5. Last year, we started a year 2 program. This was more in person, and it provided a little bit more one-on-one time with our year-round staff. So they were assigned, based off their interests, they were assigned 2 mentor meetings where they would meet with 2 of our year-round staff. And this wasn't just our rec staff, and we tried to make sure it wasn't always their supervisor. So they got to know people from Director Farrell to our parks team, to myself, to some staff at the senior center, just to kind of talk about how we got to where we are and careers in Parks and Rec, and just really offer any advice or answer any questions they might have. Other opportunities or things in the second year, there was a kind of career panel, as well as the session that I coordinated was an event or program planning. So they would actually come here in person. It usually happens over the winter break. And we spend about 2 hours. I review in about 30 minutes, give them a crash course in what we look for when we create a program. So anything from our pricing policy to our budget worksheet, how to kind of coordinate all of those things. And they were given a prompt to come in and kind of brainstorm with. And so both the last 2 years, they spent the last about hour putting together a program, and then they presented it in front of staff that were on site that day. And this year, I'm trying to, the one that they presented was kind of a family day at the pool. So I know our pool staff reached out to a few of them to get a little bit more details and maybe steal a few ideas for possible programming. But this is the 3rd season for that, and I just did want to highlight on the growth. The first year, we saw 15 people participate in it, and then last year, we bumped into that second year, and we had 19, and then this year, we completed with 23. So again, it was just a great opportunity for these seasonal staff to kind of take an extra step in leadership and some professional development, for us to kind of stay connected with them in the off season. That's also a big struggle that we have every season, was we kind of say goodbye to them in August or around Labor Day, and then hope to see them again around now when they're applying or interviewing. So this was just another way for us to kind of stay connected with some of those staff.
That was a very quick, there's no way in order to present every single item that this team works hard to establish, but just a really quick overview of some of the accomplishments from 2024 and what we're looking for 2025. Again, with the amount of skill, not only with our full-time team, but seasonal team, I think 2025 is just really kicking off to be a great year as well. But happy to answer any questions that you have.
Council colleagues, yes, Ms. Padova? Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited about this Future Leaders program. I did not know that that existed, so kudos to you all for starting that. I do have a question. When you said that 17 years old was when you could start being a counselor, I started writing down a question, and then I missed the CIT. Can you say what the age is on, or kind of like that again?
So for the counselor in training, you have to be 15.
Okay.
So the thought process there is you're able to be in the camp program until you're 16. So we're able to close that gap from being a camper to being a CIT and hopefully a camp counselor. So we're really trying to just keep you engaged throughout your program and really just become part of the team. So you were the program, and now you get to just really be a servant of your community and just participate in another way.
Okay, and that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I didn't misunderstand that as you were talking about it. And so is the CIT program, are those paid opportunities or are those volunteer opportunities?
It is paid.
Okay. Awesome. And then they can go into, is this does this start at that age, or does this program, is there an age limit on that?
Yeah, Future Leaders is open to all of our seasonal staff. So
Okay.
we'll hire 15 and over for several of our positions. So CITs, our concession staff, our lifeguards, all can start at 15. So that's kind of our entry space. And then as kind of the positions go up with responsibility is the age, but it's open for any. I want to say probably, I mean, more than half of them are in that 15 to 17 range that kind of participate through that first year and go into the second year.
Okay, thank you. And how fitting that we have such responsible young ladies sitting back here hearing all of this evening.
This is like a recruiting and, yeah, this worked out great.
One last thing, I did want to just give you guys some recognition also on the Independence Day celebration. I know that was a big day for you guys. You pulled it off. It was awesome, so thank you.
Ms. Jones?
Thank you for this presentation, and as a mom of a loyal fan who is so ready for Hannah Park to start, I'm very excited to take it home and share that she can be a counselor in training at 15. She's ready to do it at 10, so, you know, if you change some policies. So Future Leaders, you mentioned, so this is in between seasons, I think you said volunteer, so they're not paid, so they're coming just by choice in between, or are they paid?
We do pay them for their time.
Okay.
So it's volunteer. We don't force anybody to participate in it, but what we'll do is we'll send out an interest form at the end of the season before everybody heads back to school. So those that show interest that want to participate will then get the information to the kickoff meeting as well as kind of those next steps. Any time that they're meeting with us, whether it's our kickoff meeting, these one-on-one mentorship meetings, mock interviews, any of those times, we document, log those times, and then their supervisor adds those times into their on their pay sheet. So they are active employees year-round, which also helps that onboarding process, because rather than completely moving them out of payroll at the end of August like we do if somebody's fully separating, they're able to keep in the system, so it's an easier turnaround this time of year where they are reapplying and coming back for the next year.
Got it. And you said the different mentors and things like that, it's outside of Parks and Rec or within?
Right now, they're still within. It's just
Okay.
outside of their specific areas. So we have a
Got it,
lifeguard.
okay.
I try not to schedule them with both of their year-round staff. We try to get them with others that we do a little questionnaire intake. Very few of them. Sometimes they line up with, somebody wants to go into horticulture or something like that, so I'll pull in somebody from our parks department that maybe meets that a little bit better. But when it comes down, they meet with 4 different people, and so it's typically kind of a mix, but it's great to be able to kind of let them see some perspectives of everything that we do and not just, they see me a lot during trainings and out at the pool, and so it's just not me and Chris on their meetings.
That's cool. Thank you. I think the program's great, so kudos.
Thank you.
Mr. Weaver?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you both for the presentation this evening, and kudos all around the whole team on another successful year and on what I'm sure will be a successful 2025. It seems like we're already off to a good start. So thank you very much. Just to confirm, we are still hiring for seasonal positions, correct?
We are still hiring for seasonal positions.
Did you hear that back
Yes,
there?
we are.
So good to hear the information about the pool, seeing those numbers growing year over year, especially after 2022 and some of the difficulties that your staff was facing in particular, really makes me happy as someone who was a lifeguard, pool manager, swim lessons, swim coach, the whole gamut. I believe wholeheartedly in the power and impact that having good public pools can have for a community. So excited to see those numbers continuing to grow. 2 quick questions regarding overall participation, the number of the participants that you see. Assuming there's a lot of repeat individuals, not just from year to year, but program to program or one camp to a different camp, or are we seeing a good, healthy mix of newcomers as well as repeat participants?
So it's hard to make a blanket statement for each section, of course. We do, from a senior center standpoint, we did see and are seeing new faces, so new participants. With summer camp, there's a restriction of available spaces. So we do offer registration to residents first. This was one of the first years that there were weeks sold out before non-residents even had the opportunity to register. We, of course, want to have priority to residents in order to access the programs that are intended for residents. So we are seeing growth in just the need. And that's why you see the growth in available spaces, because we're seeing that demand. So we're trying to meet that demand with expanded opportunities. So whether that's increasing the amount of campers we can take or increasing multiple sections of a popular program, we are gaining more adult participants, whether it's through golf or just available opportunities through just new programming for adults. So we are seeing new faces, and one thing that we're working to gain specific feedback of what people want to see. So we're able to try things that maybe we haven't done in the past if it fits within the mission statement.
Thank you. And then my second question, with the forthcoming move to 825, are we anticipating a drop-off in programming for our seniors going into that move, or are we planning on maximizing the use of the building next door until the day we move over?
We will maximize the space that we have, whether it's in that facility or it's in an alternative location. We do not want to disappoint our members, so we will do everything we can to make sure that is a exciting and positive transition.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's all for me.
Thank you. Just very briefly, I wanted to just recognize the fact that these camp programs are childcare programs and that you are filling a critical need, and that I recognize that from a funding perspective. I think it's absolutely critical that you continue to offer the expansive camp programs that you do, especially with early drop-off and late pickup. So thank you, and just truly wanted to make sure that was recognized. One quick question. With regard to CPR and AED training, would you like to speak on that briefly?
Sure. We have, through Chris Simmons, our aquatic supervisor, myself, our certified instructor trainers, so we're able to teach individuals to be lifeguard instructors or CPR for the professional rescuer instructors. And so we offer all of our seasonal staff in-house training. This year, we were actually making the shift from the basic adult CPR training to CPR for the professional rescuer. If you've gone through either of those classes, it's the pro rescuer provides a larger breadth of training, including multiple rescuer CPR, using equipment like bag valve masks, can have the addition of oxygen and kind of the type of equipment. So we're making that transition for our seasonal staff. Our aquatic staff are already there. All of our lifeguards are trained in that, as well as oxygen. But our event staff, our camp staff, we're making that shift this year, and then we'll finish up next year with staff to just kind of increase that level of training across the board. We do offer trainings and help support our safety coordinator here with the city for just our internal staff trainings as needed, as well as offer CPR trainings for the public.
Thank you very much. And I know that we spent a lot of time already, but only touched the tip of the iceberg and recognize the expansiveness at which recreation is provided to the community. So thank you for the update this evening, and we look forward to further conversation. We did commit an error, and I'm so very sorry because I know this was a lengthy presentation this evening, but we did want to make sure to recognize the Ingalls and someone from the troop to offer some remarks. Was that? Thank you. Yes, please go ahead. And make sure if the light is on the top of the mic, then it means it's on. Perfect. Thank you.
That was a informative and great presentation on behalf of the group from the recreation. Lots of us participate in all of those activities, so thank you for that. And thank you, Mayor Jadwin, Councilmember Renner, and all of the council for recognizing us here tonight. My name's Jeff Blasey. I'm the Scoutmaster for Troop 7456, and I am grateful to accept the resolution on behalf of the troop. It's an incredible recognition, and we really appreciate it. We have several members of the troop here tonight, and we'd like to tell you a little bit about ourselves. As the proclamation and Mr. Renner pointed out, girls were not always allowed in BSA or Boy Scouts of America. In 2017, shortly after membership for girls was opened up, my daughter and three of her friends asked if they could start a troop since girls were allowed. Keep in mind, at the time, they were 9 or 10 years old. So we went down the path of starting a troop. One of the guiding principles of Scouts is that the troops are Scout-led. So these sixth graders planned all of the activities, came up with the agendas, and most importantly, they also recruited some friends. So these 4 girls recruited some friends. Those friends recruited some more friends. And several years ago, we grew to 18 Scouts actively participating in the troop, and we've maintained that over the last several years. I will say it's been a joy to learn and grow with these Scouts and learn from them. And with that, there are several of them that would like to tell you a little bit more about the troop and what we do.
Hello, my name is Jane Blasey. I am my Scoutmaster's daughter. I am the one who started the troop with 3 of my friends. It was something that we kind of weren't supposed to do. We were told by many people our age and adults that girls shouldn't be in scouting, and kind of doing this was setting the precedent that we can do what we want. And and we did this, and now we have a whole bunch of other girls who like doing what they want. And I love seeing them learn how to do all of this stuff that we had to kind of learn on our own. And now we have the opportunity to help them and make it easier for them. Just January, I think, we had a Klondike, which was a camp out where we compete in winter activities. We had to spend 2 weekends building a wood sled. In the meanwhile, gassing out our Scoutmasters with spray paint, because that was smart. And we got 3rd at this competition with fire building and first aid and navigation. And just seeing what we've been able to do as a troop come through in this situation was amazing.
Hi, I'm Mara. I have some note cards because I suck at talking on the spot. Good evening. My name is Mara again. I've been part of Scouting since 2019. I'm actually one of the 4 founding members, which has made my experience even more meaningful. I remember being terrified of heights when I was little, and having joined Scouts, it has helped me get over my fear. One of our spring break campouts, we went to, Fayetteville in West Virginia, and we did a high ropes course, and there were sections of it that were broken down, and so we went to those dead ends, and it was hard to get back. But having all of those obstacles definitely helped me overcome my fear. This past summer, Actually, I worked alongside Jane, and I had the opportunity to work as a camp counselor at the same camp that we've stayed at for a week every summer since 2021. I got to teach and guide younger scouts, and also learn myself how to persevere through rougher times. Whether it's bad weather or unexpected challenges, I've just learned to keep going and find solutions with my team. Overall, joining Scouts has made me stronger, more confident, and overall a better person. I've learned leadership, teamwork, and resilience, and made friendships that I'll keep for life. It has been an incredible journey, and I'm grateful for everything that Scouts has taught me.
Good evening. I'm Bella Alley. I'm a junior at Gahanna Lincoln, just down the street. Why are you laughing? Anyways, when I joined, I was not one of the founders, despite how old I am. I actually joined in like late 8th grade, and I mainly joined it for like the camping, but I actually realized it was much more than camping. I learned a lot of leadership, and I learned how to make friends, which I wasn't very good at. I'm not a very social person, but I think it has taught me a lot of good skills, because now I know a lot of first aid, I know like teamwork and leadership, like I already said. And I'm very grateful to have experienced Scouts, and I believe that girls experiencing the wonders of Boy Scouts of America is very important, and I'm very grateful for you guys to recognize our troop. Thank you.
This is our newer generation.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity for me to speak in front of Gahanna City Council this evening. My name is Sophia Engel, and I am a first-class scout in Gahanna's Troop 7456. I joined scouting last year because I thought it would be about camping and cooking, and I love both of them. I like the camping part except for the bugs. But I discovered that scouting is so much more than that. Some things that scouting is about are service projects to help out the community, learning life skills through working on merit badges, and of course camping. I also made some good friends along the way. I am honored to be a first-class scout working my way to Eagle Scout.
Hi, I'm Kira Shaluha. I'm another one of the leaders, and this was actually written by a different leader who wasn't able to stay, but we wanted to still convey the message that even though scouting has been around, our troop has been around for 6 years, and the girls still get to show that 115 years of Scouting America in everything they do. They've gone on 2 high adventure campouts, Sea Base in Florida and Northern Tier up near Canada, and campouts in the snow and many other activities. As was mentioned earlier, there have been 3 girls who have achieved Eagle Scout and through their ranks in the summer of 2022, and those 3 are currently attending college. The first Eagle Scout is attending Ohio State and is working at the Scout Council office in the Scout Shop. The second Eagle Scout is attending Ohio University and works at community events as a stilt walker. And the third Eagle Scout is attending Ohio State and performs with the Ohio State Athletic Band with the goal of marching with the best young band in the land next fall. Heather, my fellow leader who wrote this, her daughter is one of the Eagles, and she said it was a pleasure to not only see her own daughter reach the rank of Eagle, but that because she wanted to do it since her brother had achieved his. Having the opportunity to work with girls that are currently working on their Eagle rank, 2 of them are wanting to be like their big brothers and get their Eagle Scout, but not have to wait so long. One of the projects that was completed was the winter scene of Gahanna at the public library this past holiday season. And another of the scouts is planning to work with the Ronald McDonald House on her project. These women, just like the young men that earn their Eagle Scout, they follow the same path. There are no changes to it. Learning to camp, cook, first aid, citizenship, financial management, and time management. The projects that they do are not just about building something, but it is about teaching others on what needs to be done and leading the project. We, as adult leaders, are teaching these young women how to be the future leaders of our nation. It has been a wonderful experience to watch them grow and learn. We have 2 events coming up over the next couple of months that we want to mention. The first is the troop is currently collecting for the period pantry out of the Franklinton and Hilltop area. The Scouts are collecting feminine hygiene products from now until the end of March. If you would like to help out with these collections, there are boxes at the high school and middle school west to collect feminine care products. There is also a box at the Gahanna Community Congregational Church, which is where our troop meets. Our goal this year is to double what we have collected last year. Next, we have upcoming a fundraiser dinner where the Scouts will be making the dinner. One of the Scouts has planned a pasta bar. We also want to award our Scouts that evening for their achievements that they've made, and we'll be having a talent show. This event will be on Saturday, May 17th at 6 p.m. at the Gahanna Community Congregational Church. Thank you for allowing us to talk with you today, and most of all, thank you for the support of our troop. We are very proud of them and what the girls have accomplished in such a short period of time.
Excellent, and thank you so much. Please accept our apologies for not recognizing you earlier in this evening. Thank you so much for all your time and effort putting into this, and what a fitting way for us to continue to recognize Women's History Month by recognizing your troop and your accomplishments. You are really, truly trailblazers in every sense of the word, so congratulations. All right. Thank you again. We will now move on to Hearing of Visitors, Section D of this evening's agenda. This evening we have 1 in-person speaker slip and 1 video speaker slip. Are there any other speaker slips that we've received? Okay. The first speaker slip we've received is from Riley Dean. Riley, if you would please approach the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes for your remarks, and we do use a timer.
My name is Riley Dean. I live at 1080 Oregon Avenue in Columbus, Ohio. Good evening, Council President Bowers, Councilmember Renner, and members of Gahanna City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today in support of the city's resolution regarding March 22nd as World Water Day. My name is Riley Dean, and I serve as the Political Affairs Manager at the Ohio Environmental Council Action Fund. The OEC Action Fund advocates for clean water across Ohio from source to tap. World Water Day celebrates water and raises awareness of the 2.2 billion people living without access to safe water. By passing this resolution, Gahanna reaffirms its commitment to access to clean water for all of its residents. It also highlights the city's leadership in sustainability and environmental stewardship. Ohio faces a $27 billion price tag to update its failing water infrastructure over the next 20 years. Unfortunately, local governments have been forced to foot the bill for water upgrades due to declines in federal investments. This has led to rising water costs for communities and for residents. It is vital that federal, state, and local leaders invest in updating our water infrastructure and replacing lead service lines so that our community members have access to safe and affordable drinking water. At the OEC Action Fund, we advocate for our decision makers at every level of government to take critical steps to safeguard our rivers, lakes, and streams. Unfortunately, we've recently seen reduced protections for wetlands at the federal level and rollbacks for stream protections at the state level. Additionally, as climate change accelerates, we know that extreme weather events such as heavy storms and flooding will become more frequent and intense. These events can further threaten water quality by overwhelming stormwater systems, increasing pollution runoff, and stressing aging infrastructure. We stand ready to work with you to continue to protect the Big Walnut, the Rocky Fork, and the Sycamore Creeks. The OEC Action Fund is proud to support this resolution as World Water Day underscores the importance of sustainable water management and access to safe and affordable drinking water. As Gahanna continues to prioritize clean water, healthy watersheds, and environmental resilience, this resolution serves as a critical step to ensuring that your community members have access to safe and reliable water. Thank you again for the opportunity to provide testimony today, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Dean. Any questions or discussion? All right.
I'll just say something. I really thank you for you and your colleague Spencer for actually coming here tonight and actually sitting through everything else. But your remarks are really meaningful, so thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Our next hearing of visitors forum is a video upload from Denise Sawyer. Mr. Van Meter, whenever you're ready.
Hello, my name is Denise Sawyer. I live at 368 Cason's Way, Gahanna, Ohio 43230. I do have a traffic concern for traffic safety. This actually happened this morning, and I know some of you probably are all aware of this as well. I was taking my daughter to school this morning, to the high school. So coming from Morrison, turning right onto Hamilton, I was in the far right-hand lane, and a person driving a really big, like F-150 truck turned left out of the Moo Moo car wash and went over all four lanes. We were inches away from getting hit, and I feel like there should be a no turning left on, coming out of the Moo Moo, as we do have the light behind the Moo Moo and where the hotel sits. It's very dangerous because people coming, in and off of Morrison can be affected by this, and it builds up traffic flow, and it's just it's not safe. So that is something I would like to hopefully have addressed, to see if there is something we can do to make that a no left turn, just for the public safety and general safety as well. So I really would appreciate that as well. I also have the concern, even coming from Kroger, leaving Kroger right outside Provision, turning left out of there as well is a headache, and it causes all types of distractions, accidents. I've been in an accident over there myself this past November due to that situation. So I really would just like to see if that's something that can be addressed and what we can do as a community to help push this through, because I do want the community to remain safe. So that was the only thing that I had. Hopefully I'll be able to come to one in person, but I appreciate your patience and your time. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. With no other speaker slips, we'll move on to Section E of tonight's agenda, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda as published this evening?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Renner,
Second.
a second by Mr. Weaver. Is there any discussion? Yes, Mr. Schnetzer.
Thank you, Madam President. No real discussion or debate per se, but as I was reading through Resolution 0011-2025, it occurred to me that maybe a public service announcement or two might be warranted. This particular resolution is nothing more than really an administrative step in order for the city to receive financial assistance from the state through the Ohio Public Works Commission's State Capital Improvement Program, or SCIP. So the first PSA being that the SCIP is up for renewal on the May 6th, 2025 ballot. I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody how to vote. It was originally implemented in 1987. I think it's been renewed 3 times, so this will be the 4th time it's up for renewal. And it would authorize the state to issue $2.5 billion worth of tax-exempt municipal bonds over a span of 10 years in order to fund projects like this. So in essence, the PSA is if anybody's going into the ballot box in a couple of months and they're wondering, well, how does this program affect me? Here's one example. Another just through a quick search of our past agendas, where it looks like we've at least pursued funding from OPWC, would be the Claycraft water main replacement a couple of years ago, as well as the Cherry Bottom Road stabilization project. So it looks like this program has been around for almost 40 years. I believe their statistics say that it has helped to finance $7 billion worth of capital projects, 19,000 examples of capital projects across all 88 Ohio counties. And then the other PSA being this council, along with the mayor, just a couple of weeks ago, passed a resolution urging the federal government to preserve the tax-exempt status of municipal bonds. This is yet another example of how that mechanism provides low-cost funding for the city of Gahanna, and again, here are a couple of projects that benefit from that. If the cost of that financing goes up, mathematically fewer projects get done. So just a couple of PSAs as it relates to Resolution 0011, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schnetzer. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? All right, hearing none. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Renner,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McGregor,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes. Motion carries and the consent agenda is adopted as published. And thank you, Mr. Schnetzer, for your comments regarding Resolution 11.
Thank you.
Next, section F, motions. We have several motions this evening. The first is motion 0002-2025, a motion to approve seasonal employment of Nathan Graves for the council office intern through Morpsey. This item did not come on committee of the whole, so is before you for a first time pursuant to information provided by Clerk Van Meter. Is there a first to adopt motion 0002-2025?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Weaver,
Second.
second by Mr. Renner. Is there any discussion regarding this item? Yes, Mr. Weaver.
Thank you. Nothing formal, just to highlight the Morpsey internship program is well-known and to be a great success for local communities that are participating. I think Clerk Van Meter would attest that the Charlie, who we had last year, was a terrific benefit to the council office, and look forward to the year ahead. So.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. And just a quick thank you to the Department of Administrative Services for support and facilitating the Morpsey intern program. We're excited about Mr. Graves's participation this year. If nothing further, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Weaver,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
McGregor,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Great. Motion carries, and motion 0002-2025 is adopted. We have the next two motions on this evening's agenda, motion 0003-2025 and motion 0004-2025 are motions to appoint Alan Oman and Ross Goldsmith for the NCA board as discussed at prior committee of the whole meetings. Is there a first to adopt motion 0003-2025 as published?
So moved.
First by Mr. Renner.
Second.
Second by Mr. Weaver. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Renner,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Padova,
Yes.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
McGregor.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Is there a motion to adopt motion 0004-2025 as published?
So moved.
I have a first by Ms. Jones,
Second.
second by Mr. Weaver. Any discussion? I'll just take a moment to thank both Mr. Oman and Mr. Goldsmith for their willingness to continue to serve on the NCA board. If no further discussion, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Jones,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Renner,
Yes.
Schnetzer,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
McGregor,
Yes.
Padova.
Yes.
Motion carries. That was motion 0004-2025. The next motion, motion 005-2025, I'd like to ask for a first to appoint Mr. Travis Polk as the council appointee to the City of Gahanna Community Grants Review Panel for the 2025 program year.
So moved, Madam President.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Renner. Any discussion on this item? All right, hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries, and thank you to Mr. Polk for his willingness to serve. Motion 0006-2025. I'd like to request a first to appoint Nancy Gerwin as council appointee for the City of Gahanna Community Grants Review Panel for the 2025 program year. Is there a first?
So moved, Madam President.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer,
Second.
a second by Mr. Renner. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Great, motion carries, and thank you as well to Ms. Gerwin for her willingness to serve. Finally, we have motion 0007-2025. I'd like to request a first to appoint Ms. Holly Haynes to the Property Appeals Board, Seat 1, for the unexpired term ending December 31st, 2025. Is there a first?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Renner and a second by Mr. Schnetzer. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Renner?
Yes.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. And thank you to Ms. Haynes for her willingness to serve. I'll note that periodically, council will request people to apply for various boards and commission appointments. And people without even invitation can go online through our council office website to put in an application to serve on boards and commissions. Members of the public are welcome to do that at any time and can select any number of boards or commissions that they're interested in, so that when we have opportunities to appoint, like for an unexpired term, as we just did, we have a great pool of candidates from which to select. So thank you to all the community members who have put in applications to serve on boards and commissions. All right, with that, we'll move on to Section G, ordinances for introduction and first reading. We have two ordinances. Mr. Van Meter, would you please read Ordinance 0008 and Ordinance 0009 for the record?
Ordinance 0008-2025, an ordinance to repeal and replace the City of Gahanna Codified Ordinances, Chapter 903, Sidewalk Construction, Maintenance, and Renewal, and declaring an emergency. Ordinance 0009-2025, an ordinance to amend the Codified Ordinances of the City of Gahanna, Chapter 147, Board of Zoning and Building Appeals, Chapter 770, Property Appeals Board, and Chapter Section 1117.09, Appeals.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Both of these items will be on for second reading and adoption at the next regular council meeting scheduled for April the 7th. All right, next section on this evening's agenda, Section H, Correspondence and Actions. Mr. Van Meter, do you have any items this evening?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. In terms of council, I wanted to just give a follow-up report to the opposition to Senate Bill 104 that was mentioned at the last committee meeting. As you all may know, OML, Ohio Municipal League, requested OML members to oppose Senate Bill 104, which would preempt local regulations of short-term accommodations. Mr. Weaver, Ms. Padova, Mayor Jadwin, and myself attended the Ohio Senate Local Government Committee last week. We spoke in opposition to it because it would threaten our ability to regulate short-term rentals and prohibit local control or severely restrict local control. I'll mention specifically for my part that I am concerned about the bill's impact on safety, neighborhood stability, and housing affordability. What we see from commoditization of housing is that it skews the fair market. And those who profit off of housing have a different calculus than a family deciding whether or not they can afford a mortgage. So in addition to the other types of safety concerns, zoning concerns, et cetera, I would like to also mention my concerns with regard to housing affordability and that impact. Mr. Weaver, Ms. Padova, would you like to make any comments this evening on this item?
I appreciate the opportunity to go down and testify for this or against this bill. my concern was in regards to zoning and essentially having businesses next to or in residential neighborhoods, and our proximity to the airport definitely puts us in a position where Airbnbs, VRBOs, things like that are very popular. So we've seen a lot of that happening through my appointment to the CVB. We've heard from other hotel managers that they're losing reservations to Airbnbs, VRBOs, things like that. So it's definitely an increase. So, yeah.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Ms. Padova, as well. My written testimony was accepted, and there was my comments focused on the cap that the legislation would place on communities attempting to set a registration fee. The legislation caps that fee at $20. As folks may know, our rental registration fee here in the city is $150 per biennium for a single-family home or a duplex, and that is tiered as the number of units in the structure increases. So does the registration fee. Point of that fee is to recoup a little bit of the cost of the expense of our code enforcement officers doing a basic inspection, ensuring that the property is safe for our residents. Comments made clear that by capping that fee, you're essentially hamstringing communities from being able to provide basic safety services as it relates to rental properties and short-term rentals. As a matter of process, moving forward, I anticipate another hearing in the Senate Local Government Committee. It may also be referred to another committee in the Senate as well. There's also companion legislation in the House. So plenty of opportunities to offer feedback to our state legislators. Mayor, I don't know if you have anything in addition, if I may. Sorry, not to steal you.
I think Mr. Schnetzer wanted to make some comments, and
Well, I'll defer to the mayor. I was just going to follow up on, just thank you all, but I'll go after the mayor.
Thank you. It's been a while since I was down offering testimony. It felt like old times, the litigation. Without even addressing the specific issues to consider with regard to short-term rentals, my testimony that I offered last week really had to do with the higher level overarching impact of what this bill proposed, which quite simply was yet another attempt to erode home rule authority. The local governments, as we're responsible for responding to the needs and concerns of the residents within our community. And we have been granted that authority under the Ohio Constitution to be able to make rules and to control and manage our communities that best meet the needs of our constituents. So my concern was how this bill was taking that authority away. Again, without getting into the nitty-gritty of issues with regard to short-term rentals, some of which have already been mentioned here. I appreciated the fact that there were 4 of us there. I will share there were a multitude of cities, villages, and townships at that testimony hearing last week. Everybody from Kelly's Island to Sandusky to Hocking Hills. There are different levels of sizes, but everybody had the same concerns. It was reiterated over and over again, and in fact, they started the testimony, the hearing, by saying they had received such a long list of people who wanted to speak on the subject, and they asked us to confine comments to 3 minutes. For some people that worked, but not for most of us, because we had a lot to say. But I do think that the committee themselves were very receptive to the feedback that we had. I think what I really wanted to point out was, given all of the variety of cities, villages, and townships that were in that room, we were the only city that had multiple representatives speaking on behalf of their constituents. I think that presents a great chance for us to present a collaborative approach. And really, I think our residents can take comfort that we were ensuring that the message of Gahanna and speaking in the best interests of Gahanna were represented. I think our community expects us to be strong advocates together, and not only on this issue, but on other issues that shape the future of Gahanna. So I don't know what will be to come from the testimony from offered last week. I've heard some mixed things based on other people who have talked to some of the Senate committee members. So I'm kind of hoping maybe that might be the end. You never know. It's not the first time that a bill like that has been proposed, but I look forward to working with everyone, again, should that need arise, and we need to speak up on behalf of our community to make sure that we're protecting the interests of all of our residents.
Thank you, Mayor Jadwin. Mr. Schnetzer?
Thank you, Madam President. Appreciate all four of you taking time out of your schedules to go down there and address this issue. While I have not followed it as closely as the four of you, my thinking from the outside looking in is very much in line with what the mayor just said, that this is perhaps another example of home rule being whittled away at, basically. And in light of that, I guess I'm just reminded of, the words of Thomas Jefferson when he says the government closest to the people serves the people best. I think it's plainly obvious, residents in this town implicitly know that, the 7 of us, 9 of us up here at this dais, because we live here, we're more sensitive to the local issues than a higher level of government, whether that be the state or the federal government. We're accessible. You can come in, pull a speaker slip. You can even submit a video testimony to share your concerns. And again, I think that speaks to the federalism within the United States that makes this country really special, is that you have that local representation and that local interest. And it sounds like this particular bill would unfortunately be contra to, again, that federalism that I think makes the United States special. So thank you to all of your efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Schnetzer, and thank you all as well. It was a great privilege to be able to represent the interests of the city and all of our residents at the opposition hearing last week. We encourage folks to follow that legislation. Now, I guess in closing, I did want to remark that if residents would like to also oppose Senate Bill 104 or take a position on it, they can email State Senator Beth Liston, who represents Gahanna. Her email address is liston@ohiosenate.gov. That's LISTON @ohiosenate.gov. You're also welcome to get in touch with the local government committee, which you can find on the Ohio Senate's website. All right, with that, we'll move on to Section I, representatives, and we'll start with the Community Improvement Corporation with Mr. Renner and Ms. Padova.
We do have a meeting tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the committee rooms.
Thank you, Mr. Renner. Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. Thanks as always to Ms. Hiltz and Council Office for her assistance in compiling the report. The commission met on this past Thursday. On the docket, Morpsey's annual air quality report was presented along with a resolution to support pedestrian and bike infrastructure funding. In terms of regional development and economic growth, One Columbus provided an update on business expansion efforts, highlighting the Anduril project. The last thing I wanted to highlight this evening is regarding the Central Ohio Greenways. Morpsey received a $325,000 grant from the Ohio Department of Transportation to develop a Central Ohio cycling guide, including a bike level of stress map and tourism guide. Please see the agenda for the full report, but just a couple items that I wanted to highlight. And that's it for me, Madam President.
Great, thank you, Mr. Weaver, and thank you so much for the comprehensive report. Councilwoman Padova from the CBB.
Thank you. Tomorrow evening, March 18th, from 5:30 to 7 is the Visit Gahanna annual meeting. Tickets are still available. I am not sure if those shut off tonight or tomorrow, but they are still available right now. So if you would like to purchase your ticket, you can. We will have the guest speaker is Roy Hall Jr. He is a former Ohio State wide receiver and now a motivational speaker. So very excited to hear his message kind of centered around Team Gahanna and being better together. Also, we will have a special guest at the beginning. Brutus Buckeye will be in attendance tomorrow. So stop by tomorrow, La Nirvana, March 18th, 5:30 to 7. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Padova. And last but certainly not least, Councilwoman Jones with our school board report this evening.
Thank you. I will keep it brief and oversimplify a complicated topic, but myself, Councilman Weaver, even Mr. Weibensinger last week had the opportunity to attend a presentation by the school district on the proposed state funding. And super simple that if this proposal goes through, it could essentially reduce funding for our schools down to 2021 levels, despite inflation, despite rising students, and just the cost of running schools. So the presentation was really informative. It really broke down what the concern is, what the potential issue could be, and even gave action items for all of us as residents and potentially, parents within the district. So the recording of that presentation is supposed to be on the district's YouTube page this week. I just checked tonight, not there yet, but just keep an eye on the district's YouTube page. And so I encourage everyone to take a look at that. Also in the, on their Facebook page, there's information as well about how folks can take action as well. So keep an eye out for that, but that's all that I have this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Official reports, Mayor Jadwin.
Thank you very much. Last week, the members of our IT department held their very first ever IT Cyber Cafe right here for our city staff. It was an opportunity for team members to troubleshoot issues with them, answer tech questions, provide useful tips, but it really also created an opportunity for staff members to engage with one another and to see each other outside of those very stressful moments of my computer working, I need somebody over here right now. But the really interesting and cool thing, it was really a great event, but the IT department will be offering the Cyber Cafe to members of our senior center next Monday as well, inviting those members to come in, bring their iPads, their phones, have questions asked in terms of, an app that's not working right or figuring out how to navigate a feature on their phone. So we anticipate that'll be a very valuable offering for those members as well. Last week, I was invited to participate in a small group focus conversation with regard to the work underway in the Columbus region on a regional housing coalition. In addition to Gahanna being represented by myself, Bexley, Westerville, Worthington were also participants in the conversation. I think it was an enlightening discussion on the challenges that we each are facing. We're all very similar communities. We're largely built out, well-established communities, and we had really intriguing conversations facing issues such as aging infrastructure, rising housing prices, and limited housing stock, how those correlate, and really how we work together as a region to try to address some of those issues. The fact that we all get our utilities from the city of Columbus came up as part of that conversation, and how that plays together. Certainly the bill that Councilman Schnetzer referenced earlier today will, I think, be very critical to how we are all able to move forward. There was great discussion around the fact that as, again, largely built out communities, we are going to need funding support if we're going to be handling some of the challenges. As a member of MORPS's executive committee, I know that they are also participating in those conversations. So I do anticipate there will be more of those conversations happening and more opportunities for communities to participate, especially as the region continues with the explosive growth and adding new workers to the area. This Thursday evening, we will kick off our 2025 Gahanna Citizens Academy at 6 o'clock right here at City Hall. We will again welcome 20 residents to a behind-the-scenes look at how their government works for them. Over the next 9 weeks, they'll have an opportunity to learn more about the work that is done here at the city each and every day for them. Not only what work is done, but how the work is done, how projects are planned, how decisions are made, how dollars are invested and tracked. And I think even most importantly, to get them meet the people who do the work for them and serve them every single day. I know it's something our staff really enjoyed last year. They're looking forward to it again, so looking forward to a great group. And we will be keeping everyone updated throughout that class on our social media channels, so keep an eye on that. And then finally, we are 10 days away from State of the City. We'll be held at the Menlo by Edison Venues, which is third floor of Franklin Peak. That's the big white office building next to Edison Brewing. The event will run from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Great opportunity for our residents to come in, our citizens to interact with city leaders, department staff, learn about projects ahead for 2025, ask questions. We do have nearly 24 local and regional partners, including Swaco, who will have a table there to engage with our residents, and more than a dozen local Gahanna restaurants that will be offering some samples of uniquely Gahanna dishes that you cannot find anywhere else. So even though it is a free event, we are asking folks to RSVP just so we can plan for headcount attendance. So if you check out the website, gahanna.gov, there should be a newsflash going up with that link to an RSVP for that. So we look forward to seeing everyone next week.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam City Attorney Tim Larison.
Thank you. There are many items of litigation that are pending a result soon, so I should anticipate having more updates in the future, but nothing official as of now. Looking forward to participating and meeting the Citizens Academy coming up and greeting residents during the State of the City. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tim Larison. All right, we are now at council comment. Let's start with Councilwoman McGregor.
Nothing tonight.
Great, thank you, Mrs. McGregor. Mrs. Jones?
Yeah, just a quick update. Next constituent hour will be April 12th. I know we're a little over a month, but never hurts to get it on the calendar. Especially for this one, I'm pretty excited to host at a local small business. So the Bibliophile Candle Company will host that constituent hour in April. Thank you to council colleagues for the resolutions this evening. Loved hearing from the Girl Scouts, super fitting for Women's History Month, so I appreciated the girls of the Boy Scouts. Let me get that right, and they get all of the credit they deserve for that, so thank you, Councilman Renner. Random but fitting, so I found an app this week when we're talking about food waste action this week. It's called Too Good to Go, but it is an app where you can get leftover, like bakeries, anything that's left. You sign up, and anything like at the end of the night, you can go before they open and pick up deliveries. Donna's is often on the app, so it seemed fitting to just share that for folks that didn't know that. If as we think about another opportunity to reduce food waste and get super cheap donuts, so check out the Too Good to Go app. And I'm not an official spokesperson. It just felt fitting that I found it this weekend and it worked for reducing food waste. So
Starting my Lenten challenge right now, but
yeah,
that's fine.
right. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. Councilman Renner.
Yes, I just found that app just this week.
Me too,
and so,
right?
yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I was actually playing with it, and I was surprised.
Yeah.
I also want to thank again Troop 7456 actually reaching out to me and educating us for what they do. It's an amazing group of young leaders that are rising. I also want to thank, again, members of the Ohio Environmental Council coming and speaking tonight. And I deeply want to thank my colleagues for passage of the World Water Day resolution. It's a moment for us to reflect on the critical role water plays in our daily lives and the responsibility we have to protect and preserve it. Here in Gahanna, our name itself is rooted in the confluence of our waterways, the Big Walnut, the Rocky Fork, and the Sycamore Creek, symbolizing the interconnectedness of our past, our present, and our future. Thanks to the work of our mayor and our team, we now champion this heritage through our city logo, reinforcing our dedication to our local creeks. But this commitment must go beyond symbolism. By recognizing World Water Day, we reaffirm our focus on the clean water access, stormwater management, and flood mitigation efforts, such as we have seen in our cities on the west side in Ward 1. The fact is, climate change will result in more extreme weather with heavier storm events and more extreme droughts. Yet we are designing our storm systems for past rainfall events and not future trends. Through investments in green infrastructure and sustainable water practices, we are not addressing immediate concerns. We are shaping a resilient, thriving future for generations to come. Let us stand together as a city that values, protects, and celebrates our most vital resource, water. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renner. Councilwoman Padova.
Thank you. I just wanted to add a couple more comments. I know I already talked about food waste quite a bit this evening, but I've been pretty into composting lately. It's something that I could sit and chat with you about for quite a while. But I think that something that I really loved about this resolution being specifically food waste awareness and not just composting or planning your meals or it, I feel like a lot of times sustainability has kind of a negative connotation with it, that you're either giving something up or you might think that you have to buy something new or that it's expensive. What I love about the composting aspect of this is that if you are a gardener, if you plant flowers or vegetables, compost is your natural fertilizer. So compost is going to, throwing some of that in when you plant something, it's going to help everything grow much larger and better. And you're not going to have to put chemicals into the ground, but also fertilizers aren't cheap. So if you are using your food scraps, you're saving money there. You've already bought your coffee grounds, your apple cores, your banana peels, right? So rather than throwing them in the trash can, you can throw them into your garden. And also, you know, planning meals and eating leftovers might take some time to build those habits, but again, if you're doing those types of things, you're going to eventually see some money. If you're not throwing meals away into your garbage can, you're eating them, you're going to see some savings there. So I just really wanted to point out that the resolution passed this evening is an example of how we can live more sustainable, add value to our lives and our gardens, and also hopefully reduce our budgets over time as well. And Councilwoman McGregor and I also attended a meeting last week, I believe, with people at Grin, talking about just ways that we can help our community, and especially with fresh produce. So if you are a gardener and you use this compost and you grow more than you can eat, also recommend taking some of that into Grin to help your neighbors in need there. So that is all for me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Padova, and thank you for your passion on this subject. Councilman Schnetzer.
Nothing to add this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schnetzer. Councilman Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. First of all, thank you to all of our guests who joined us this evening, and for everybody who made it to the end. Thank you for your patience. And also want to thank all of our resolution recipients who joined us this evening. I didn't get to add my comments to Troop 7456, but what a great way to continue our celebration of Women's History Month with a group of young women who are doing amazing things, and I really look forward to what the future holds for them. So wonderful to have them in chambers this evening. I want to thank Mrs. Jones for her comments on the school district's school funding presentation. School funding has to be one of the most complicated aspects of our government. In fact, you know, the Ohio Supreme Court has ruled that the way we do it in Ohio has been unconstitutional for decades. So all that to say that I thought the presentation did a really fantastic job of breaking down that complexity into a digestible hour. And so if you do have the opportunity, I encourage you to take a look at the video once it gets uploaded to the school district's YouTube page. To be clear, the governor's proposed budget is pledging cuts, and the Speaker of the Ohio House has indicated a desire to go further. And cuts to state funding result in other entities holding the bag. Localities, local school districts are going to have to make up that difference. Local taxpayers are going to have to make up that difference. That's all I'll say on that. The end of the week, I had the great opportunity to spend 2 days with the Ohio Economic Development Institute, participating in their training conference for a couple days. One of our presenters was actually Nate Green, who the city has contracted with for his services with the Montrose Group. So it was great to hear him in his element, as well as folks may remember our colleagues from Bricker and Eckler who helped us navigate the 825 conversation. The focus of the conference was on the various economic development tools that are available to localities, be it TIFs, PACE funding, the grants and loans available from Jobs Ohio, and some of the challenges that our communities are facing in terms of navigating those tools as they work to sustainably grow and redevelop their communities, whether that's CRAs and how those can be reformed to meet the changing needs of communities, or what have you. So a great opportunity. I want to thank Council Office for making that a possibility for me. I believe that's all for me, so I'll just wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day and a happy spring. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who joined us this evening, and thank you to my colleagues as well as staff for all of their effort in the items that came in front of us this evening. I wanted to end on one final note with regard to the state budget, that while there is a proposed slash to local school districts to the tune of about $600 million, that is exactly the dollar amount that's being proposed to support Brown Stadium. So I will leave you all with that this evening. All right, with that, we are adjourned.